Okay, let's talk about continuity on a table. Now, first thing, I actually want to talk about C first. Can a table like these be used to find limits with absolute certainty? No. When you use a table to find a limit, you are only approximating what the limit is, not for sure. So what we're doing here is basically we're looking at this number line. As I get closer and closer to 1 from both sides. So right here I'm coming closer and closer to 1 on the left and closer to 1 on the right. And I'm trying to look at what the limit is doing just by plugging in values to the equation and seeing what the values are getting closer and closer to. So what I need to do is plug in all these numbers into this equation. Now I have a shortcut on your calculator. So if you go into your calculator, first thing you're going to do is type your equation into Y1. So you've done that. Next, if you hit second mode, it'll take you back to the home screen. Now, we're basically going to tell our calculator to do function notation, to plug a value into this equation. We do that by hitting vars, then arrow over to yvars, and we want number 1 function. And then we want number 1 y1 because that's where we typed our equation. So I'm going to hit 1 again. And that's how I get y1. Now I'm going to do parentheses and tell my calculator what input, what x value to plug into y1. So I want 0.9. That's what I wanted in my table. So I'm telling my calculator plug 0.9 in to y1. And I hit enter, and there's my answer. So I can go back here, 5.736. There we go. Now I can do second trick. If you hit second and then enter, it's going to copy the last thing you put in. And now here I can go back, add another 9, and I have my next value I want to plug in, 50.748. So pause the video, go do that, and do it for both lines on your table. So you get all the values, 0.9 to 1.1 and 1.9 to 2.1. Okay, hopefully you have it all filled out. Now if we look at this, so if we look at this one, as I'm getting closer and closer to 1 on the left, it looks like my numbers are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. As I'm getting closer and closer to 1 on the right, my numbers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So this limit is going to infinity on the left-hand side and negative infinity on the right-hand side. So since they're going to infinities, we would say this limit does not exist. So now let's look at number 2. Looks like, as we're getting, here's our 2. From the left, it looks like we're getting closer and closer to 0.333. And on the right, looks like it's getting closer and closer to 0.333. So since it's getting closer and closer to the same number on the left and right, then we can say this limit exists. And you could do 0.333 or 0.334. Either one. Because like we said here, this is not an absolute certainty. This is an approximation. It is approximately getting closer and closer to here. Now, do not say that that is 1/3. Because we do not know that it is 1/3. This is an approximation. We don't know what the next decimal could be. It could be a 6. We have no idea. Could be a 0.3333678. We don't know that it's 1/3, 0.3 repeating. So we just write what we do know. So that is approximating limits using a table. In the last video, we'll talk about the intermediate value theorem.